There were lots of concerns, weren't there, in the run-up to this tournament, particularly after events that had happened in Sochi last year about racism. I know we've spoken about it in the past, and you are a very well-travelled individual. Did you have any concerns, or how has the reception been?
I would say it was definitely a friend of mine, but I can only say honestly, the experience I've had is I've been able to enjoy this World Cup. This World Cup's been about the world coming together. It hasn't just been about Russians being there.
And Pascal, you've been here 16 years, more than 16 years. What did you make of all the reports in the run-up to this tournament?
The last 10 years, there's no racism in Russia. I'm feeling myself like in the family, the world family, the first time. So, but 10 years ago, couldn't feel this. Everything has changed in Russia. 100% has changed. So that's great. That's great.
How much has it changed? What was it like 10 years ago?
How can I explain? Like that. Something like that. Because 10 years ago it was very hard. Fighting, running, races, monkey songs, all these things, especially for African. When I came first year, like a student, as a student in Russia, I wanted to go back. Because in the street, when you came to Russia, say that you cannot go out alone. Go out in the alone, even going to the shop, you don't have to be alone. Minimum 2 or 3 of you should walk. We were scared.
So what I find very interesting, Robert, is we're talking about that, and there were all the reports about the concerns. Is there now arguably more racism in Russian football than the rest of Russian society?
Yeah, I think that's an interesting parallel to say that. Interestingly, when it comes to the reaction, especially to the black people, Russians would most probably react in an exotic way to a black person, especially in the cities out of St. Petersburg and Moscow. I wish one day I would be telling you, Amanda, like Pascal, that we don't have racism in Russian football, but this is an issue now. An issue that needs a systematic approach on an institutional level.
People have just been intrigued. I've had a Russian walk up to me and say, "Sorry for staring, you are a nice looking woman." You know, and he just kind of explained, and it's been one of those things. I think you can look at it many different ways. When people see, I'm a black woman, for example, and people see and have that interaction and conversation with me, maybe it makes them think, wait, I knew all this, but this is the reality. Why have I had these thoughts? When you bring the world together, you educate so many people. You educate the home country, you educate one another, and that's my hope from this World Cup.
Okay, so one thing I realised we didn't get to the bottom of last week, you used that analogy of Russians being like icebergs, but we didn't explain why.
Yeah, this is interesting, and you're right. Like, if you would be smiling like too much, people would say that
something's wrong.
Yeah, something is wrong with your mental health.
You don't smile for nothing. Just like that. No.
Because smile in this country has a very intimate meaning. You know, when you're looking at a person and smiling into her face or his face, it really means that you liked that person very much. And if that person is smiling to you, it means that you're almost a couple. You know, this is important to understand. Yeah, this is important to understand. Like, this is about amazing thing of talking about Russia and trying to understand why these people are not smiling.
All the games I've been to, whether it's Russia, Peru, Brazil, there's smiles. I literally saw in front of me 2 men kind of going at it during the game, and then the goal, and then the hugging, and then the crying. Every emotion through one football game, and I think that's the power of football.
To just show how mental this country went about football, a friend of mine just yesterday explained me. He said that, Robert, I know how much you are into this game and you love it. I saw just 2 young girls taking a ball and going to the playground and starting playing football. Then I understood this country got a bit crazy about this game.